Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Unbalanced with me, Cerys Davage. I can't believe we're at the end of the year already. This is the last interview episode of 2025. Crazy. But anyway, I'm here today to introduce you guys to Khansaa. Am I saying your name right?
Yes, actually.
Really?
Yes.
Amazing. Well, please introduce yourself to us. Who are you? Where are you from? And what do you do? I just want to warn you guys that the audio does cut in and out a little bit throughout this episode, so maybe it's best to watch the video version whilst listening, just for a bit more clarity if you can.
Well, hello everyone, and I'm so happy to be here. I just wanted to say that because I'm a really big fan of the show. And as you said, my name is Khansaa. I'm 31 years old, and I'm Moroccan originally, but I live in France. Fun fact about me: I'm a double amputee, below knee amputee since the age of 9 years old. And yeah, so I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited to have you on. The listeners won't be surprised in finding out that we met over Instagram, because that's how I meet a lot of people. The community is really huge over there. I love it so much, don't you?
I do. I didn't get to meet a lot of people with disabilities when I was young. So once I got on social media, I found out that there was this whole world around, and I couldn't wait to meet everyone and talk to everyone and just share our experiences, reach out because we all share something.
Yeah, exactly. And I love meeting new people and just connecting on that deeper level. I mean, I love meeting people anyway, but meeting people that just get it, they have the same experiences or the same kind of mindset around things. There's just nothing like it. It's honestly so special.
Exactly. Yes. It's even people, they're very receptive to, because I remember one time I was going I was just in the street, and there was a girl with a prosthetic, and she just reached down and she hugged me. And I was like, oh, no one hugs people. I was in France, in Paris, and in Paris people are not very friendly. So but it was so genuine how we connected.
So sweet. Moments like that, so special. And it's just nice to see representation, especially out in the wild as well. Like in the middle of Paris, that's crazy.
That's true. Yes.
So tell us a bit about your disability. So you were a double amputee since 9 years old. What happened there?
So I was I was out with my mom. I was 9, as I said, and we were on foot, and then we were crossing the road. And as soon as I got on the pedestrian side, of the road, there were two cars. I think they were racing each other, and one of them hit my mom first and fled, and the second one that was behind, he was trying to actually just avoid my mom, so he went on the sidewalk, and I was there. So he crushed me there was there were bars because there was a tunnel on the other side of the road, and he crushed me across the bars, with the bars, and my legs, both of them were amputated. It was instant, it happened. I think it helped that I was young, because I didn't really understand the importance of things and the gravity as well. So I honestly just thought that we're going to grow back. I was like, okay, no biggie. It will just grow back. And what was very important, I think, my parents, they really made a very great job at just sheltering me from all the negative comments and negative things that were being said around in my family or our friends. So I just really didn't feel like something major happened. To me, it was just being sick and not going to school. So I tried to enjoy it. But yeah, reality had to catch up.
Wow, okay. That's a huge story. And I'm sure you've been, I'm sure you said this story so many times to lots of different people over the years. What do you remember from that? Is it just all like a bit of a blur? Is this just kind of a script that you just say, but you don't remember much from it?
I actually do remember a lot of things, but I try to keep it light, I would say, because I don't see it as something that is negative. I try to keep all the positive side of it. So I try to always, like, when I talk about it, obviously I try to keep it light and very, I don't know, just make it funny somehow. But I do remember a lot of things. Like, I was talking to a friend last time, and I was like, we got like deep into it. And I said that I remembered how, like, so they were like, I had Barbie boots, like, that I begged my mom to buy. To buy for me. And like, I remember how, like, my feet were in the boots with like the bone like going out of them, and it just like, it was dramatic but in a beautiful way. I don't know how to say it. It was just like a very powerful moment. So I feel like I try to keep all the details by thinking about them, because I don't want to lose them. It was definitely a turning point in my life, but a good one, I would say.
That's absolutely incredible that something that could be so traumatic and has changed your life forever, that you're just spinning it into such a positive thing and kind of saying it really beautifully as well. It's just so encouraging. Wow, it's incredible. And not everyone will be able to have that mindset. You know, something like that, I'm sure, was really traumatic at the time, and
Mm-mm.
obviously you didn't understand it. So growing up, kind of getting to terms with it, and the
Yes.
fact that you're viewing that as a positive thing is just absolutely incredible. And I suppose you're very lucky to have the support system around you to just kind of keep going in that way.
Mhm. Exactly. So actually, my favorite like episode on your show is the one with your parents, because I could relate to it like so much, because the way like you were talking about it, it reminded me of like my family and all the things we've been through. Because obviously the bad part about what happened was like all the hospital trips, and like how like all the infections and cleaning the wounds, and like that was like the very bad part that I tried to forget. But like there were like other things that were great. And I love to think about how like my sister and my brother had to adjust to the situation, because my brother is very close to me, and like he's like 1 year younger, so we were very close and used to like play together. And I love how he just adjusted like the way we used to play. At first I was on a wheelchair. I wasn't using my prosthetic legs because my legs needed to heal first, and they were very expensive. So I was on a wheelchair, and it was discovering a whole new world.
I'm so glad you could relate to that episode with my parents. It's just, it makes such a difference when you've got a support system around you who maybe doesn't make it seem like as big a deal. And that's just so nice that you had that. How did you find school and kind of navigating growing up into a teenager and things with your I mean, when did you get your prosthetics as well?
So I got them pretty early, to be honest, because I was very lucky again, because they're very expensive in Morocco. Because in Morocco there's no insurance, like, and it's not covered, and you have to buy them yourself, and which is obviously super expensive. So, and I was a kid, so I had to change them like every year because I was getting older, and that was a huge sacrifice. Like, my parents really had to deal with a lot financially and emotionally. There were like some negative comments, but actually no recollection of it, like nothing. But like the ones I can remember is like being a teenager, and that's when things change, I would say. Because with your friends, like, people tend to get mean, I would say. And like I lost some friends, and I would find like comments on my blogs, like how about how I was like a half person. I was not really like a full, like, I didn't even have a full body and stuff like that. And my sister found out, and I remember she read them, and she went straight to my mom about them. And the next day at school, she just showed up like that, and she printed the comments and she read them, and she was like, I just need to know who wrote them. This can happen to anyone can be a disabled person, but like, yes, being a teenager was definitely tough.
Yeah, I think it's a common misconception that disabled people need to explain their condition and like be always ready to educate other people on, you know, what happened and things like that. And I get what happened all the time, even though nothing happened to me. It's just a disability.
Yeah.
Um, But, not everyone is comfortable sharing their medical journey or their
Mhm.
diagnosis or anything. So, yeah, I think it's brave when people ask, for details for your disability. I think, why can't it just be a normal thing and you can just treat them
Yes.
like a normal human being without just asking loads of really intrusive questions?
Hmm. Especially when they're like, I don't like it actually when their attitude change. I get sometimes that like you're curious and like you want to know like what happened. But what I used to don't like now, I just like okay with it. But at first I'm like, people would be curious and then you would explain, and then I don't like the change in attitude, the pity that comes back. Like, oh, okay, oh, I think that's the thing that I used to hate the most. And that's why I didn't want to really explain things.
Yeah, it's so annoying that they change as soon as they see the disability, like they treat you differently.
Yeah.
They really shouldn't, like we're just normal people, and if anything, I it makes me more reluctant to talk about it. Like I don't
Hmm.
want to talk about my disability if it means that you're going to treat me differently. I want
Exactly.
to talk about it from like an educational point of view if you really want to know
Hmm.
and educate yourself about it. But if you want to educate yourself about things, there's plenty of resources out there. Like I've just got lived experience. I haven't got all the information.
Yeah.
So that's another thing, isn't it?
Yes, and especially since like my experience can be totally different from someone else's experience. We talked about like social media and like how it is important to like just like find people who are going through the same things as you. It was very like life changing for me because growing up I had no one to talk to, and it was like my mom wanted to shelter me from all this because she thought that like she was afraid that I would just like see myself as a victim, because she said at first she went to so many NGOs, so many people with different disabilities got gathered, and she said that like I felt like the one thing they all agreed on was that they were victims of the situation. And she said, I didn't want you to grow up thinking that you were a victim. Talking to someone who gets it is definitely a life changing thing.
Yeah, definitely. And even though it doesn't define you completely, like I'm still a separate person, which that sounds like what your mum did really well. She raised you as your own person as well and not just let you be defined by your disability and by that one moment. It is still good to just find people in that community so that it just helps you accept it a bit more, because I know a lot of people hide their disabilities and mask their disabilities just to avoid needing to talk about it with anyone. But then when you see that representation somewhere else, it's like, okay, maybe it's not so bad. Like I hated the idea of using a wheelchair, and then when I joined the online disabled community, I saw so many people in wheelchairs that were my age and
Yes.
just like absolutely looking like gorgeous and smashing it. And I was like, wait, I finally have people to look up to that I want to be like, and in a new way, rather than just like models that you see online that
Hmm.
are like picture perfect. Even though it's not my whole identity, I have a way of identifying with my disability now because I have a community.
I totally get it. Like, that's exactly as you said, just like people you can relate to. And this is a very important thing because, yes, this is like something that bothers me actually. I think it's very important because I feel like the whole media is trying to like talk about representation and put like more disabled people out there. But I don't know, I'm not at ease but with the way they show them. I feel like I was watching like an ad last time. It was I think Women's Day, International Women's Day, and like they showed like different women. Like you have an engineer, a pilot, a teacher, and a disabled person, and a mom, or and I don't know. And I was like, that's it. The disabled person just gets to be disabled. I would accept it if like they had a role. I would say like something like as we gave like all other women, because we're still women at the end of the day.
That's so awkward, isn't it? Like, I'm not just a disabled woman. Like, I don't just sit at home and be disabled. Like, I
Exactly.
have like interests, hobbies, a job. And speaking of jobs, what is your job?
So I'm a engineer.
Just to clarify, because it cut out, it was construction engineer.
Uh,
So cool.
let's try something that like where people would not expect me to be. And I was actually exchanging with my grandmother, and she is like very old school, I would say. So she was like, "What do you want to be? What do you want to do?" And she's like, "Just do something normal for girls. Don't go like on fields and stuff." And I was like, "You know what? That's exactly what I'm gonna do." And I was like, I was afraid that I was gonna like it, but I love it so much because you get to like actually take part of like real things, like just seeing your work like come through and just being able to touch it somehow, and something that would last as well. So I like the fact that like buildings are here and they get to stay for a long period of time. It was very challenging as well, I would say, as a woman first, and then as a disabled person. I don't work in on the field. I work in the office because I'm a cost engineer, so we actually work on like defining the costs and the time and materials needed to build a certain building. But when I get like to go on the field, which is very challenging, by the way, I hate doing it, but I also love it because at the end of the day it's like going to the gym. Like you're not excited about it, but like once it's done, you're just proud of yourself. And I think that's what I like the most about it.
Wow, that's so cool. How have you found like navigating just your job and working in general with a
Mm.
disability and also as a woman, like elaborate a bit more on that.
My very first experience was a very negative one. Like I remember I went for the interview. It was very good. Like I loved it. I loved the person. I could feel that I had the job, and they told me actually that I had the job. And then I didn't say anything about like my disability, and then I told them because I felt like I don't know, like I knew it wasn't going to be a problem. I would say maybe like tweaking something, like maybe if I'm like my legs is hurting, are hurting or something. But like I felt safe, I would say. So I told him, and then like I remember he just like looked at me. He was like, uh, I think I would need someone that can keep up with me when I'm on the field. Like, and I was like, no, it wouldn't be a problem. I assure you. I think I can manage. And then he was like, do you mind like going outside and like just taking a tour so I can see? And obviously, I couldn't keep up like with him. And then he was like, I'm so sorry. I just need someone to keep up with me. And that was devastating. I went back home. I couldn't even tell anyone about it because I felt like saying it out loud would make it a reality. So, but I went
Mhm.
for other job interviews that went very well, but I hid it the first time. I didn't talk about it. And then later on, like they found out, but never said anything to me. And the time after that, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna say it. I'm just gonna say it. And I want to see, I want to know how people are gonna react. And like I took the interview and we talked for a long time. And then I told them, and she was like, I think we have to take the interview all over again because this is something else. And then we did, but it was very good because she said that like actually knowing that you have a disability, I can see another person. It's like I can see the resilience, I can see the strength, and I can see that you want it, like, and that you're actually, if you want to do something, you're gonna go for it. And so I loved it, and I never had any problem after that. It was just like funny how like the very first interview I took was the negative one.
Oh, that's so typical, isn't it? Like, annoyingly, that shouldn't represent just how applying for jobs is as a
Yeah.
disabled person, but it's just so frustrating that that was your first one. Like, that would really put me off. I'd be like, no, I'm not applying for any jobs. Like, no one wants me.
Yes.
But the fact that you kept going, that's good. It's paid off.
Well, I had bills to pay.
Yeah, right.
Waste.
That was the reason. You were doing it for yourself.
Exactly. But it was mostly because I knew that I could do it, and I just knew that I just like had to find the right person, the one that would see beyond it. And obviously that there are things that I can't do. Like I can't walk for a long period of time. I get tired easily. Like when we're on the field, like you can see that I don't have the same pace as the others, and like there are things where I just have to say no, I'm not doing it, I'm sorry, I can't go there, I'm sorry, this is too much for me. And I learned it because at first I would go for it because I felt like I had something to prove, and I felt like I had to overdo it so people can see me as a normal person. But now, like, I think I did a great work on it because I learned how to say no, stop, you shouldn't go there. And you don't care what they say, you know your value, you know your strength, and you know that like you don't have to go a certain length to prove to people that like you deserve to be here. This takes a lot of time to get to, because I
Yeah.
know how hard it was to just learn to just like see myself as someone with limits, because I used to think about myself as someone like with no limits, for real. But like just learning to just like just admit that no, you can do this, no, this is too much, has been very, very hard.
Yeah, me too. I think I'm limitless, I can do anything, and I want to do everything mentally, like I'm there, but yeah, it is a big thing to have to admit
Hmm.
defeat sometimes and to ask for help. But help is there, and I think it's hard to set boundaries until you've been through that situation. Like you don't know what the boundaries are until you've pushed yourself too far and you're like, okay, I'm not going to do that again. So I guess
Exactly.
you kind of learn as you go along, right?
Exactly, exactly. And like on your one of your episodes, you talked about your trip to Milan, and like how like it was like amazing to just like get help at the airport. And that was something that I discovered very recently, because I used to like just go and be there, no, I'm standing, no, even with like when no one needed, like I just like, when the gates are open and the people just get in line, like I would just like be first in line, just be like, yes, I'm gonna stand and I'm gonna do just like everyone else. And then I remember I was on a trip and I was alone. I was 21 and I went to the US, and on my way back it was very, very tiring, and I just like couldn't just even walk, like. And then I remember I asked for a wheelchair, and I felt like defeated. I felt like I just was the worst. And I didn't tell anyone about it. I went back home, my mom was asking how did it go, and I never said anything to anyone. But it was still there, and then I was like, why did I feel that way? Why did I feel like just I had the let myself down? I went to see actually a psychologist, I think we call that, and then and we talked about this, and he was like, no, not everything is a challenge. You just have to accept that you can't do anything. It's just like everyone else. We all get tired. We all have our limits, and we all deserve to just be like, no, you can't do this. You don't have to go that far to just prove something to someone that doesn't even know you. I think it triggered so many things in me, so many changes, where I was just like, I don't even want to feel that way again. So what should I do to avoid feeling that bad?
That's so good because you're looking after yourself, you're protecting yourself. You
Yes.
you put yourself in an uncomfortable situation and you're like, okay, well, I don't like that, so I'm not going to do that again. So yeah, it is about just accepting defeat. Well, it's not even defeat, just like finding new ways of getting about life and looking after yourself.
Hmm.
Like for me, asking for a wheelchair in an airport is self-care because otherwise I would struggle and no one would know. I mean, actually, I think it might be obvious. I'll probably cry, but you know, in general, it's just so much better to, if help is there, you may as well take it. And it's
Yes.
not a sign of weakness. It's not,
Mm-mm.
you're not a burden for doing it. Help is there for a reason. And yeah, it's just a journey to accept that sometimes, especially when you're stubborn,
Mm-mm.
like me.
Exactly. Yes, me too. And I think my family like played a big role in it, because my mom didn't want me to, as I said before, to be like see myself as a victim. So she raised me as like a survivor. She would like tell me all the time that I was like so strong, and that nothing could face me, and that I could get anything that I wanted. So I felt like to like have to face a limit was like deceiving her as well. And I remember like we sat one day and I was like, we cried our eyes out. And we were like, I was like, I just need you to say it out loud. I need to hear it. For you to say you're okay. You don't have to do anything. She's like, I know you don't have to do anything. I know, but I just need to hear it. Because to me it's like always the two of us. And if I do something bad in my mind, it's like I'm deceiving both of us. So it was a very, very, I would like a touching moment with my mom where we just like, we cried so much, but it was so good. I think we definitely needed that discussion. And it sounds so simple, but to me, it was like very, like a huge step. It's like she is like the one that protected me her whole life and that made sure that I was okay. If she gets to like just accept that vulnerable side of me, then it's okay. Everyone will. And that's exactly what happened.
That's so sweet. Shout out to your mum, honestly. She sounds like an absolute queen. She sounds amazing. Yeah, we all need those tough moments and those tough conversations, but that's how we grow as people, you know?
Mhm,
I
exactly.
do want to move on to talking about your online social media profiles because you do a lot of raising awareness on there. You do a lot of modeling, and I genuinely thought you were a model, like professionally,
Thank you.
because of the pictures. And honestly, maybe one day you will be. Who knows, guys? Stay tuned. But tell us a bit about it and why you think it's important to kind of raise awareness in that way online.
I wanted to model for a long time, and but I never felt like I didn't want pretty pictures. I felt like I wanted something that could really reflect me. So I kept it in mind, and I was like, the day I will fully like feel like good in my own skin, in my own body, and fully embrace it and accept it, I want to do a photo shoot and just like be a woman in that photo shoot, instead of like, I don't want it to be like focusing on my prosthetics or my disability or just like my face or my hair or something. I want it to be like me, like all of me, all the sides. And then I it just happened like that. Like I met like a photograph who was like, are you interested in like a photo shoot and stuff? And I was like, I don't want to do a photo shoot just like a cute one. I want something that would like be punchy. And I talked to him, like we discussed my vision and we made it happen. And I loved it. I loved it so much. And I felt like a woman actually. That's exactly the word, because I felt like it was me. It was not just like pretty pictures just to show off what you're wearing and stuff. It was just like, yes, here is all of me with the disability, with the limbs, with everything. And here is me looking at the camera and owning it. And that's exactly what I wanted to do. And I loved it. I loved it. So whenever I had the chance to do it, I try, and I love it so much. And how the way it resonated with so many people made me understand that like people wanted to see that. Because I had like so many friends that reached out. It was like, when did it happen? When did it happen? We didn't know. And I was like, no, that was a very long time ago. And they were like, we never knew. And then I was like, it's because I hid it actually, and that's not good. Like I need to own it and I need to talk about it. And then like other people start reaching out, like girls like in Morocco, because as I said, in Morocco there isn't much representation, if not at all. Like I grew up just looking at like people in the US or the UK or France, because I wanted to see people like that were in the same situation as me, but I never got to see anyone in Morocco that was in the same situation. And then like people who would reach out, they were like, I have a cousin she's also an amputee, and I showed her your pictures and she loved them. Or like colleagues, they were like, I showed them to, I don't know. And And then I was like, wow, there are people that actually look for things like that. The same, I looked for them when I was young, but I couldn't find them here in Morocco, so I had to go look for them elsewhere. So now maybe I get to be that person for these girls. The amount of messages I receive like is just overwhelming, and I love it because I feel like, because I met many amputees before, but many of them stopped going to school because they thought that they can't do anything with a higher education because they can never get jobs. So I'm like, no, you can actually, like, I mean, I did it. And they're like, but how do you, and like, just like wear dresses or wear skirts or go to the beach, and I'm like, no, you don't have to hide, you can also swim, you can enjoy it, you can maybe try like travel alone. I did it. And like seeing them, like the questions in their eyes, like, for real, like, for real, I loved it so much. And I was like, maybe I this is also I was so lucky, definitely, like so lucky to have my family and my friends that allowed me to be who I am today. So I was like, it is also a chance, but a responsibility as well. So maybe you need to talk about this more and just like show up. So I try, but I'm not very good at it. But I just like hope that it still resonates with people.
That's incredible. And it really shows the need for representation, because if you're not going to find it in your local community, then you're going to go online to look for it. And
Yes.
also, it's nice to see not just classic British or American like white girls doing it, like you have the full rainbow, you have the full spectrum all over the internet now. Like, it's honestly everywhere. It's really beautiful. And good on you for turning something that you wish you had when you were younger, the representation that you missed when you were growing up, turning that into something for the next generation to look up to. And it's so nice that you get a load of messages, and I'm not surprised at all. Yeah, it's so great to actually see that this is normal, that there are
Yeah.
people out there with this. And I've learned so much opening myself up to the disability community. I've learned about so many different lifestyles and just different disabilities in general. It's honestly an endless source of just
Mhm.
joy and information all at once.
Yes, I did too, actually, because I love how like your like podcast, through your podcast, I mean, because I love how it's not like centered around like one disability in particular. So it just like go like, and like you just like talk to people with so many different experiences, and I learned so much about them as well, and online obviously, because thank God now we have like pages on Instagram and groups, and you can just like it's exchange with people and like talk to them, and you're like, wow, actually they're like, you, somehow it's reassuring, because sometimes you just like feel like you're going through way too much, and like the world is ending, and then you just like remember that like there are people who are going through way worse, but that are still managing to like show up and just like live their life to the fullest and just go for it. And you're like, I don't have an excuse actually, and I love it because we motivate each other, and I love it.
Yeah, me too. Just even connecting with you online and so many other young women, it really motivates me to just go out there and live my best life, because you're also showing people, like, you can go to the beach, like you can do this and this with a prosthetic. You're opening up like
Yeah.
opportunities for people, and you don't even realize it. It might not be a big deal for you, but for someone else to see that representation, that might be all they need to motivate them to be like, you know what, I'm gonna go for it, I'm gonna follow my dreams, I'm gonna live my best life, just
Yes.
because they've seen someone else do it, and maybe that's all they needed to just get them going. But it really motivates me as well, meeting people on my podcast and just connecting with people online and just following people online. It's
Mhm.
like, okay, we're all smashing it here in the disability
Yeah,
community. Like, we have no excuse.
definitely. Yeah, that's such an amazing thing that we get to see like people living their life like this with no limitations, without like being put in a box where they just like have to exist. I feel like
Exactly.
that's amazing.
Yeah, they're doing other things. They're not
Yeah,
just disabled.
exactly. I remember like when I was young, like I was just like so sick of like just the same thing over and over again. And the it's crazy how much it has changed. It's crazy that like see people doing everything, and like people free diving and like surfing, and I'm like, what is the limit? I mean, we are really rocking this thing and I love it. I
Me
love it.
too. It's incredible. I want to ask you how you found moving to France and navigating your disability, going from living in Morocco and the accessibility there and maybe the lack of representation that you saw. What was there much difference in moving to France? What's that been like?
Yes, definitely big change. That's actually what made me go online and start like talking about it, because I felt like maybe it is time for things to change back home, and back home as in Morocco. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I came here not expecting much, I would say, because I have traveled before, and but like day to day life is very different. And I noticed it like when it comes to my prosthetics that are now like very accessible, because I can have them just because it's a right, I would say. When before all my savings used to go on my prosthetic legs because they cost way too much. And then now I'm like, what do you mean I get to do other things with my money? I'm like, how?
Yay, finally you can be a normal person.
Yes. Vacation
Oh.
maybe. Yes. But that's like amazing. And even like last time, like I changed my prosthetics, and they were like I had to go through some mishaps, I would say. And so I was on a wheelchair for like 2 or 3 months. And I was so scared of it because I remembered how hard it was. Just like I remembered how I never could do anything on my own. So I was so scared of it. And then I'm with my boyfriend here in France. Like I knew that I was not alone. But like somehow I was like, May, I'm gonna depend on him. I'm gonna rely on him. And I'm not used to this. So I was really scared. But then I found out that like the roads were accessible, and then like that I could like go like to like the hospital there for my checkup alone. And then I was like, what? Okay. So obviously it's not perfect, but there's it's huge compared to Morocco. And like just like I went back to Morocco like this summer, and I was on my prosthetic legs, which gives me like so much autonomy compared to wheelchair. And I still found it hard. And I was like, how did I live 30 years in this? I know that like things are changing, but like I think they're changing way too slowly. Like I feel like we need to speed it up a little bit. And the only ones that can actually talk about this are people that are very like that live this on a day-to-day life. They're the ones that see what's not like what's wrong. Because I don't expect someone that doesn't even feel the need to have like like good roads or accessible roads to just like be like, oh, how does a person with a wheelchair manage to cross the road? I'm like, I don't expect them to do it. I feel like it's us that need to speak about it. And I see it online in Morocco as well, but I still feel like that the majority of people that talk about it there are still in their I'm a disabled person box. Like I'm just like disabled and I'm happy, and I like my life this way, which is good. I mean, but it's just like there is also responsibility that we have, which is to speak up and to say when things are not right, and things are definitely not right.
That's really interesting how I guess different cultures adapt in different ways and the progression to accessibility
Mm.
is in different places in different parts of the world. But I'm glad you have a support system here. I'm glad that things are more accessible and that you have more money. And yeah, it's honestly so nice to just see you thriving. I would
Yeah.
love to share your social media handles for people to follow your journey. Where can we find you?
I'm on Instagram on Khansaa Khansaa _Nammas NAMMAS, which is my first name and my last name, and on TikTok on Call Me Kansas, which is my nickname.
I love that. I really want to just keep talking to you forever because you're just so interesting and such
Me
a
too.
positive light in this world. I'm absolutely obsessed with you.
Thank you. Thank you.
But I want to end this podcast with a really important question, which is, do you have any advice that you would give your younger self or anyone else going through what you did?
To my younger self, I would say start with thank you. But like real advice, I would really just ask them to just dare to dream it, because like people will see you as someone that doesn't have the means or doesn't have what is necessary to pursue a certain things, but just like believe in the life you want to have, and you will eventually reach all the things you want, because it's your life and it's only you, and you get to live it for the rest of your life. So just make sure that you're proud of it and just go for it, because the strength is in you. We just have to find it.
Beautiful. Well said, and very motivating for anyone that might be struggling a little bit. We all have that strength in us somewhere. It may not be physical, definitely not for me, but it just makes us stronger mentally and more resilient, and sky's the limit, you know?
Yes, exactly. And resilience, as you said, that's it.
Is there anything else you want to add at all?
Not really. I just want to thank you so much for what you're doing. I really, really appreciate your podcast and even your presence on social media. I love it. I love that like you just like, because through you I like found out so many people, and I'm just so happy to be here and to be able to share my story with you and just like talk more about my journey. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and thank you for your kind words. That really means a lot. If you guys listening enjoyed our episode, don't forget to follow Khansaa on social media and to follow this podcast for more episodes like this. Don't forget to subscribe and like if you're watching on YouTube. I'll be back with you guys in the new year, but until then, have a lovely new year and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.
Bye.